Thank you. While GM winds down operations at the 36th Street metal fabrication plant in Metro Grand Rapids, the company's presence remains in the hundreds of its suppliers. 24-hour News 8's Joe LaFurgy is live tonight with what's next there. Joe?
Hi, Sue. And I want to show you how to illustrate that presence best. We found this at DetroitNews.com, the Detroit News website. Take a look at this. It shows you the influence General Motors has, well, especially across the country, but especially here in the Midwest. And take a look at Michigan. The square boxes here are GM plants, but all these other boxes, all these other circles represent GM suppliers. Over 800 of them right here in West Michigan. Some suppliers are holding their own quite well despite the economy.
Well, essentially doubling our sales over last year.
Tool Ventures International Vice President Raym Bracken says the company, which builds the parts auto suppliers need to make their parts, is doing well. The key, says, is diversity.
We're working right now primarily with Nissan and Honda, and we've been working aggressively at diversifying outside of the automotive market as well, office furniture, appliance.
According to West Michigan Economic Development Group, The Right Place, West Michigan is home to 818 automotive suppliers spread over a 7-county area. About half of those companies are located here in Kent County.
Roll a bowling ball around through West Michigan, you're going to hit, a supplier here or there.
Most of those suppliers are down a couple of notches on the supply chain. Take a car's wheel. Tier 1 supply the tire and rim. The rest of what makes the wheel spin, like the lug nuts, are from Tier 2 and 3 suppliers. Analysts say the Tier 1s are, to a certain extent, guaranteed payment. Earlier government guarantees will pay for current orders. Those deemed critical suppliers by GM and the bankruptcy court will be guaranteed future orders and a check for the merchandise by the court in order to keep GM operating. Some experts see that money trickling down to the Tier 2 and 3s. Others aren't so sure.
But it's really just targeted those Tier 1 critical suppliers. And, the TVIs and other, similarly sized companies aren't enjoying that same benefit right now.
I'm Rachel Ruiz, looking at the bankruptcy's impact on General Motors retirees. People like Steve Bloye of Wyoming, the new benefit plan in front of him. Co-pays up, no vision, no dental.
$630 a year, just for the dental.
He's a retiree, so he couldn't vote on the new plan. Didn't have 1 ounce of say over changes that'll undoubtedly affect his limited income.
We have a home in Arizona. I hope we still can have a home in Arizona. I don't know how far this is going to go.
His pension's safe now, he says, but what about later?
They've worked, they've retired, they had this agreement for them, and it's changing on them.
Analyst Mike Wall says any additional benefits cuts would likely be in the long term. If the new GM doesn't do well, it would affect the UAW stake in this. In essence, the union is a healthcare fund manager, but the money will have to be there for the benefits to be.
It's in their interest to try to create as viable a company as possible.
And although Steve Bloye is taking a hit right now with the GM bankruptcy, strangely, it isn't himself he's thinking about most.
Today's workers are the ones that are taking the beating, and my kids and grandkids. That's the ones I worry about.
With 36 years in at the Wyoming plant, he calls this day unbelievable, the day GM fell. To him, it's like losing an old friend.
Terrific place to work. But how can you close your doors?